Hi everyone, thanks for joining us at In the Know. We're catching up with some of your favorite celebs, reality TV stars, and more direct from their homes. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and today we're joined by Melissa Alcantara, aka @FitGirlMel on Instagram. Melissa and I talked about her incredible rise to fame and what it's been like training Kim Kardashian West 5 days a week ever since the reality star reached out to Alcantara after discovering her on Instagram. We also talked about her partnership with Messenger on its new feature, Watch Together, as well as what her best tips are for working out from home during quarantine. Keep listening for my full interview with Melissa. So we're here with Melissa Alcantara, aka FitGirlMel on Instagram. How's it going? I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yeah. It's going.
Yeah. It's day by day, right?
Yeah, literally, like minute by minute. You just don't know what's going to go down these days. But I think having the mentality of every challenge is an opportunity to learn is, that's kind of like where I am. So
I like that. So I'm very familiar with your story, but I'd love for you to just kind of give people listening a kind of just like a good summary of how you kickstarted your health and fitness journey, because it's really inspiring, and I discovered you a couple years ago along with a lot of the world. But for anybody unfamiliar, I'd love for you, in your words, just kind of share how you got here.
Yeah, of course. I love telling the story because even every time I say it, I'm like, really? That happened?
Right.
So, I don't know. I just kind of woke up one day. Well, after I had my daughter, Isabella, I just couldn't get, that baby weight off. And I gained 70 pounds while being pregnant. I was like a whopping 200 pounds. And I'd never felt so uncomfortable in my skin. And just nothing worked. I really did nothing, actually. So of course, nothing worked.
Go figure. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, why isn't anything working? I was like, because I'm not doing anything. So, I just decided one day, I was like, you know what? I have to make a change. I don't know exactly what that means, but let me start by trying to eat healthier and moving my body every day. So I did that. I found a workout program. I ate, like as perfect as I could with what I knew at the time. And I lost 40 pounds in 60 days, and I had never been in better shape.
Wow.
And I just took it from there, and I just enjoyed every moment of, making a decision and making progress.
Mm-hmm.
So
what for you, like, what was the kind of catalyst for you to really motivate yourself? Because I find, and I try to exercise a lot, but I find that even day to day, like the motivation level can really fluctuate a lot. And I'm curious to sort of like, how did you get yourself in that mindset to just be like, okay, no, like we're doing this.
It's crazy because I had to wake up, I had a full-time job. I was working in production at the time as a producer in New York for fashion. And it was long hours. So, and not knowing anything, also it's like, you're so far from the goal and you're just like, what's the point of even starting? Mm-hmm. But I was seriously, when you're at the bottom of the bottom, it was just the last straw. I just couldn't, I was at that point, and a switch just went clicked off, and I said, it doesn't matter if I do it right, as long as I do something different. And that's kind of what set it off. I accepted the fact that I didn't know anything and I was a beginner, and I had to go through the process, fail to succeed. And that, I think that's what I said in my head. I was like, nothing is working. Something has to work if I actually make different choices, whether they're the right ones or not.
Totally. But you just kind of, you have to like go for it at least. Yeah. So I mean, then you're posting all of you're kind of documenting your transformation, your journey on Instagram. You're gaining a following. You're posting. I mean, just some of the side by sides that you have posted in the past they're really incredible. And I think it kind of speaks to what you're saying. It's just like, it just shows like you just really committed yourself to this. And, cut to 2016, and somebody very notable that everyone in the world knows about discovers you. Kim Kardashian West. And I'm curious, like, what, how did she reach out to you? And then how did you start working with her?
It's insane. Seriously, I feel like, J-Lo should play me in a movie.
I'm here for that.
I gotta call J-Lo.
I see it.
No, so at this time, I quit my job as a producer, making six figures, to take a job as a hostess to make $7.50 an hour so that I can not pursue a career in fitness, but just do something good for myself. I was
Right.
like, it was the first time I ever made decisions for me, and it was making progress, and my confidence was growing. And you know what?
Yeah, you're probably happier, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was like, I'm diving too deep in production. Let me get out of it. So I started waitressing, making crap money. My husband was like, but he was very supportive.
Hey, it's for you. He's got to support you.
He was like, so I put that side by side, like this famous side by side picture. I had like no followers, but it went viral because pages started to share it. And yeah, Kim, her production team actually sent me an email and was like, Kim would love if you can come to LA to train her. I was like, this is spam.
Is this real? Like, yeah. Can you like show verification?
No, totally. And then the next email came, and it was like, there were like disclosures and all this stuff. And, so we were like, okay, this is real. Business, but we literally jumped up and down. My husband was the one who saw it. He was like, Melissa, I don't know if this is real. Like, I had just come home from work, and he was like, but blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no. And it was just crazy.
Wow. I mean, that really is out of a movie. That really is sort of like, it's a moment that a lot of people dream of. I think a lot of creators, a lot of people on these platforms really dream of this moment where I feel like you probably saw that it was real, and you were like, okay, this is going to be big for me. It just is.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know what. I was like, the crazy part was that a month before we decided to move to California.
The timing
we had already bought our tickets here. Wow. And she was like, I know you live in New York, but can you come here for a few weeks? And I said, I'm moving there in a few weeks. And she was like, no way. And I was like, yes way. So,
it was meant to happen. It really
that was 3 years ago. And still, I mean, this morning we were training.
So, I mean, so you kind of go out there, and then what's your, I mean, I know you guys, at least in the past, I've seen you've worked together like 5 to 6 days a week sometimes. Is that still what it is now? And sort of how, I mean, what is the situation now with you guys? Because I'm sure like you've had to like kind of take on more stuff, but how often are you training Kim now?
We still train like crazy. 4, 5, sometimes 7 days straight. It also depends on Kim. She has a lot of stuff going on. And, with her kids, she loves taking them to school in the morning. So we train really, really early. I wake up at 4 a.m. pretty much every day, but she's always on it. She's always trying to keep her body moving. It doesn't matter her days are ridiculous.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
I'm like, oh, I'm not even anywhere compared, and my days are crazy. So, she's always working, always moving, but she makes sure that this is, this is something for herself, and this is something that's going to stay, and that's her fitness.
And I'm curious because I feel like for you, part of what kickstarted your journey was the fact that you said you hadn't lost your baby weight, and you were kind of like in this state. And I'm curious, like, how much do you think the fact that you're both moms was the reason that was kind of like the reasoning for you guys coming together and kind of like having that post-baby journey? That clearly she was inspired by yours. And I'm curious, like, how much of that do you think played into the decision to work together?
100%. I mean, I feel like when she saw me, she was like, wow, she's not like this big thing on Instagram. She's not, this model. She's just a girl from Brooklyn, and she's a mom, and she has like a regular job, and she decided to do this for herself. And so I think more than having the right information, what Kim needed was more of the mentality behind it. How do you keep on moving? How do you keep on going? How do you fit these things into your life and, create this action, because it's not motivation. It's just doing. It's knowing that it's something that's good for you, and you get it done no matter what. Nobody's paying you. You're not being, recognized. Like, how do you do that? And I think that's what connected us.
Totally. And it's all about being that self-starter. Even if you want somebody there with you, if you're not willing to do that yourself, I feel like then that's just kind of like a no-go.
Yeah.
And you talked about the fact that like about sustaining it. And I think that is something that Kim exemplifies probably your teachings and then the way that you approach things, which is like, it's not about overnight success. It's not about losing 5 pounds in a week. I feel like from what I can tell for you, it's about the longevity of it and sustaining it. And it's not just the fitness, it's what you put on your plate and what you put into your body. Can you talk to me a little bit about that and sort of what your kind of approach is overall about sustaining things?
Well, I always tell people, if you don't see yourself doing it forever, don't even start it. Like, don't even do it. Obviously your mindset is going to change along the journey, but you can't put yourself in a position of like creating such high expectations when you're here. You know what I mean? If you're a beginner, then you have to respect that you're a beginner. You can't, you're not advanced and you don't have all the information. And you have to go through the motions to get to know yourself, because what works for you doesn't work for the other person. You know what I mean? So it's like, when people say, oh, is keto diet the right diet? I'm like, well, can you see yourself not eating carbohydrates forever? And if they're like, then I'm like,
no.
Scratch it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you have to manage, what you can do also in order to move, you have to move. Yeah. Motivation is not, you're not just sitting on your couch being sad and then it's just gonna hit you, like it's gonna fall from the sky and be like, boy,
totally.
My God, I want to do something. No, you actually have to get up. You have to start moving. You have to work out or whatever it is. You have to make decisions in order to want to make decisions. And that's the hard part, because that comes from you and not from inside. A place of like, oh yeah, I want to do that. But like, you have to create it.
Yeah. And I've read that you keep your clientele small because you really like to put all your attention into a few people and make sure they're on the right journey. But there's a new partnership that you're doing that really is going to kind of quote unquote expand your clientele, your client list, which is with Facebook Messenger. It's a really cool new initiative that they're launching, and you have a kind of fitness, you're cultivating a fitness program within that. I'd love for you to tell me about that, because it sounds like anybody with the Messenger app can kind of do some of these things with you.
So you actually get to watch videos together with your family members. And I mean, it couldn't come at a more perfect time right now with what's going on in the world. But honestly, it doesn't even matter, because, I'm on the West Coast. My sister, my family lives on the East Coast. And sometimes we literally like put up the video and we're like cooking together and doing stuff together, and just walking around the house. And before I know it, it's like 2 hours in and it feels like she was there the whole time,
Right.
Like I'm sitting on the toilet, I just sit her down. Like
we're sharing everything.
Like, every activity. So, that's why, I wanted to work with Messenger on this. I think that it's super cool that you can actually like call, your friend or your sister or whoever and watch a movie with them or get a workout in with them. You don't want to work out by yourself. I mean, you spend most of the time by yourself all the time, especially now. You're like, hey, and then they're like, oh, thank God you called me, so that I can do it. Now you put the pressure on me.
You motivate each other. Right, exactly.
Yeah, you're like keeping each other motivated, inspiring each other, like keeping that connection. And that, I think, is what's super important about this feature. And I mean, watching, like cooking together, Food Network, that's like one of my favorite things. Putting Food Network up and my sister and I being able to look at the same thing and make the same thing, and me to be like, mine is so much better than yours is the best feeling.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think sometimes what's missing from whether it's at home cooking or at home workouts or whatever you're doing at home by yourself these days, what's missing is just that camaraderie, that joking with your sister or joking with your mom or, laughing with whoever you live with, like you normally would be with. Like, I love that this can bring that back to that experience for people. And it, really
in real time. It's like, you're not sending them a video. This is not like, YouTube where you just like press play, you know, like it's actually happening right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you're watching each other sweat, you're pushing each other to keep on going, or you're giving each other tips. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I've created actually a few workout videos with Messenger, yes, for the Watch Together app feature. And they're 20-minute workouts. I mean, they're brutal. No, but it's efficient. You know what I mean? And I love it because it's 20 minutes. You do it at home. You don't need any equipment. And there's a video for each group. So if you're a beginner, I have a beginner workout. I have an intermediate workout and a more advanced workout. And it literally focuses on every part of your body. I mean, even if you're advanced, you can still do the beginner workout. That's the best part. It's as much as you put in.
Right.
But when it comes to form and things like that, that's where it makes a difference in these workouts. But
for sure.
I mean, yeah, you can do that 20-minute workout that, you know, you probably wouldn't have done with your friend, and you can do it together. So
I love that. And I also think what's really cool for you is that, like, you obviously already have a huge platform. You have 1 million followers on Instagram, and you have Fit Girl Mel, your website, that you have other resources and classes and things on there. But like, this is really meeting people where they are, you know, like you just said, like, who knows how many people have Messenger, but like, it is a big number and it's a global audience. And it's so cool that you can be a part of that. And really, it's really exposing you to, I'm sure, a whole new swath of people.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I mean, it's, again, like I said, I've been using Messenger for so long. It's super easy to use, even just the face of it. Everything is really easy to use. I also created like a sticker pack. So,
I love
and it has a lot to do with, like, you know, we work together. I worked with the Messenger team to create this sticker pack. And there are things in there that it's like my energy and, you know, my personality. So I thought that was really, really cool.
That's really fun. I love that. And I'm curious, like, we talk, I mean, this does combat one of the biggest issues, I think, of working out at home that people have had in quarantine. But I'm curious, just like generally for you, what have people been reaching out to you about with, like, whether when it comes to advice on doing at-home workouts? Like, what are some of the biggest kind of problems that you're seeing across the board from people that they're really kind of looking for guidance on?
I mean, you know, they did a poll, and 75% of people between the ages of 18 and 24, they have issues working out at home because they don't have somebody to work out with. And, you know, like we spoke about that, and it's having like a partner and somebody in, you know, real time, and not just being like, oh, just do this workout video, but like, do this with me now. And so I think for the most part, that's what people ask me. And it's like, how do you get motivated? And it's like, okay, well, again, you know, if I call my friend and I'm like, hey, let's do this workout right now. I mean, it's more probable that we are going to do that workout together. And, you know, you don't want to let your other person down. You know what I mean? And I think that that's one of like the biggest issues that we come across, not having somebody to work out with. Right. You know?
What about like lifestyle wise? Because it's like, I don't know, I find that, like, you know, I sit down and then all of a sudden it's been 5 hours, or, you know, or I forget to drink water, or I like am snacking throughout the day, kind of like subconsciously, and I don't really realize that it's happening. What are some of those things that you're seeing, and how do you kind of recommend that people can combat some of those things?
Oh yeah. I mean, even myself, you know, I caught myself, you know, having a glass of wine. You know, first it was like every 3 days, then it was like every 2 days. I was like, wait, how does this bottle finish itself so fast?
I mean, nightly occurrence. Okay.
You know, and it's like, it's so easy to get caught up in that, in those like little habits. And I had to really check myself. You know, I had to be like, well, do you feel great? Yeah, I want to have that glass of wine, but, you know, what's the probability of me getting a workout in tomorrow, doing the things that I need to do? So it's constantly checking in with yourself. You know, how do I feel? Is this making me feel good? Am I forming maybe a bad habit? You know, I'm not an alcoholic, but, you know, maybe I could lay off the wine for a few days.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be every night. Right, exactly.
Exactly. It's like managing your expectations, and really, again, like I said, it's hard to think about yourself because you're not in the present moment. You're constantly thinking about the things you have to do or the things that happened already. So, constantly coming back to what you are doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm washing the dishes. And as long as you do that, you know where you are. You know where you are here. And so it's like, oh yeah, I'm thirsty actually. I forgot to drink water.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly. Just being conscious, basically.
Yeah,
Of just, like,
being aware, being conscious, and just always bringing yourself back.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to somebody who's kind of maybe on a budget, but they want to maybe invest in like some cheap workout gear at home? What are your kind of go-to fitness things that you like? Are they bands? Are they weights? Like, what do you like to have on hand the most?
So bands for sure. I actually have a set of my own bands.
There we go. Come on.
Fitgirlmel.
Fitgirlmel.com.
I love them. I've tried so many bands. You can just imagine in my fitness career. But I do love bands, whatever, any form. And again, how I created those home workout videos for Messenger Watch Together. It's like, do workouts that require no equipment and learn your form.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because form is...
You can always use your body weight. You can always use your body weight for any... Right,
exactly. You can create your own tension. But I would say just get yourself a set of short and long bands so that you could do different things. Learn, watch, try them out, do stuff, be creative, and don't just wait for somebody to give you the answer.
For sure. And then finally, I haven't gotten to read your book, Fit Girl, but I'm sure that you are, it came out earlier this year, and I'm sure that there are a lot of secrets and things in there that people can learn from you as well as they hope to like kickstart their own fitness and health journey. What can people find in that book? Like, what, if I were to buy that book, what would I find in there?
Oh my God, just realness, literally how I am right now. I think that what I wanted to accomplish with that book, I was able to. And that is, I am talking to you, not to the entire world. I'm literally talking to you. And everyone who reads that book always tells me that's the first thing they say. They're like, oh my God, you were talking to me. Like, I felt every word that you said.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to make it more of a conversation and less of just an informational book. Like, I want you to know how I felt and the struggles I went through, and I know that those are your same struggles, because we're all human and we go through the same things all the time, especially when it comes to making the best decision for ourselves. I constantly go through that struggle still every day. But again, like I said, it's about being aware and conscious. And, it's just really, really realness, like literally answering the questions that you have not even thought to ask yourself. You're like,
for sure. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So,
and sometimes we need somebody like you to like force us to answer those questions and force us to ask those questions.
Because it's a lot easier than you complicate things as a human being, because it's easier to be complicated so that you don't have to deal with it, but you also like when people, you also like when people tell you the real deal and be like, snap out of it. I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to tell you the truth.
Well, Melissa Alcantara, it was so fun to talk to you. Where can people find you? At FitGirlMel on Instagram, FitGirlMel.com. And
Melissa Alcantara or FitGirlMel on YouTube. I'm going to be putting a lot of cooking videos on there, so stay tuned for that. More workout videos, and
well, Melissa, thank you so much for calling in. It was so fun to meet you.
Thank you. Yeah. Have a good day.
Bye.
For more stories from In the Know, go to intheknow.com. You can also follow In the Know on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and find me, Gibson Johns, on Instagram and Twitter at Gibsonoma. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.